Survive anywhere. Essential survival skills for every environment. Introduction, the will to survive. Welcome, brave soul, to the unpredictable world of survival. Whether you're a seasoned adventurer, a weekend camper, or just someone who's watched way too many episodes of survival TV shows, this book is your ultimate guide to not just surviving but thriving in any environment. From dense forests teeming with life to barren deserts where the sun feels like it's actively trying to roast you, we're diving into all the gritty real-life skills you'll need to make it out alive, and maybe even have some fun doing it. Yes, fun. If you're not laughing a little while you're trying not to get eaten by a bear, you're doing it wrong. Understanding survival psychology. First things first, survival isn't just about having the right gear or knowing how to build a fire with 2 sticks and a prayer. It's about mindset. You could be dropped into the most dangerous situation imaginable, but if you've got your head on straight, you've already won half the battle. Fear, panic, and doubt? They're your worst enemies. In this book, we'll teach you how to flip the mental switch from "oh no" to "I got this." Because once you believe you can survive, you're more likely to do just that. The importance of preparation. Here's a survival truth bomb. Mother Nature doesn't care about your plans. She doesn't check your calendar to see if today is a good day for a torrential downpour, a heat wave, or an unexpected encounter with a venomous snake. That's why preparation is your best friend. From packing the right gear to mastering key skills, being ready for anything is not just a Boy Scout motto. It's Survival 101. And no, binge-watching survival shows doesn't count as training, though we won't judge if that's how you got here. Adapting to different environments. Each environment has its own unique set of challenges, and the skills that help you in one might be as useless as a chocolate teapot in another. This book will guide you through tailored tactics for surviving everywhere from urban jungles to frozen wastelands. You'll learn how to outsmart the environment, whether it's finding water in a desert or dealing with aggressive wildlife that's eyeing you as a snack. Think of this as your cheat sheet for Mother Nature's toughest tests. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore each environment in detail, giving you the tools, tips, and a little bit of humor to face whatever comes your way. By the end of this journey, you'll not only have a solid set of survival skills, but you'll also have the confidence to handle whatever life throws at you, even if it's a grumpy bear or an unexpected snowstorm. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the wild, wonderful, and sometimes downright wacky world of survival. Remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about doing it with style and maybe a laugh or two along the way. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Forest Survival, Mastering the Wilderness. Forests are some of the most beautiful yet unforgiving places on Earth. They can offer everything you need to survive: food, water, shelter, and plenty of resources. But they can also be full of hidden dangers, from venomous plants to prowling predators. This chapter will guide you through the essential skills needed to thrive in the wild woods, whether you're lost in a dense rainforest or navigating a temperate forest close to home. Identifying edible and medicinal plants. One of the most crucial skills in forest survival is knowing what's safe to eat and what isn't. Not every berry is a sweet treat, and some plants that look innocent could send you on an involuntary trip to the emergency room, or worse. We'll cover key plant identification tips, focusing on common edible plants that can keep you nourished and medicinal plants that can help treat minor injuries or ailments. Remember, if you can't positively identify it, don't eat it. Mother Nature isn't always serving gourmet. Building shelter with natural resources. When it comes to shelter, the forest is both generous and demanding. With an abundance of branches, leaves, and other natural materials at your disposal, the challenge isn't finding resources, it's using them correctly. We'll walk you through the basics of constructing a reliable shelter, from simple lean-tos that shield you from rain to more complex debris huts that provide insulation. You'll learn to assess the landscape for the best locations, avoiding hazards like falling branches, animal trails, and water runoff areas. Fire-making techniques in humid conditions. Fire is a survival game-changer, but in a wet forest environment, getting a flame going can feel like trying to start a car with no gas. We'll explore different fire-starting methods, from basic matches to advanced techniques like bow drills and flint strikers. You'll learn how to gather dry tinder even when everything seems soaked, and how to keep your fire burning in damp, unpredictable weather. Mastering fire making will not only keep you warm but also boost your morale, a critical factor in survival. Water sourcing and purification. Finding water in a forest might seem easy with all those streams, rivers, and ponds, but don't be fooled. Clear water doesn't mean safe water. We'll cover various ways to locate water, including spotting animal trails, identifying water-loving plants, and using natural landscape clues. More importantly, we'll teach you how to purify water using simple techniques like boiling, filtering through makeshift devices, and using purification tablets. Because trust us, the last thing you need is a stomach bug when you're already fighting to survive. Navigating dense forests. Getting lost in a forest is easier than you'd think. Everything looks the same and it's all too easy to go in circles. We'll go over basic navigation skills that don't require a GPS, like reading the landscape, using natural indicators like the sun and moss, and creating markers as you go. Knowing how to orient yourself in thick woods can make the difference between finding your way out or spending an unexpected night or three among the trees. This chapter equips you with the essential skills needed to turn the forest from a hostile environment into a place of opportunity and resourcefulness. From foraging to fire making, each section is designed to give you the confidence and know how to handle the wilderness like a pro, all while keeping a bit of humor and grit intact. Let's make the forest feel a little less intimidating and a lot more like home, just without the Wi-Fi. Chapter 2, Desert Survival, Thriving in the Heat. The desert is a land of extremes. It's blisteringly hot by day, freezing by night, and water is more precious than gold. But despite its harsh reputation, the desert is also a place of surprising beauty and hidden resources, if you know where to look. In this chapter, we'll cover everything you need to thrive in the desert's unforgiving landscape, from finding water when it seems impossible to keeping your cool in more ways than one. Coping with extreme temperatures. Surviving the desert is a test of endurance against the elements, and managing your body's response to heat is crucial. We'll dive into strategies for avoiding heat stroke, sunburn, and dehydration, including smart clothing choices, pacing your movements, and knowing when to rest. The desert sun isn't just an inconvenience, it's a formidable opponent. Staying ahead of its effects can mean the difference between life and a dangerously overheating body. Finding and conserving water. Water is the single most important resource in the desert, and finding it isn't just about luck, it's about strategy. We'll explore various techniques to locate water, such as following animal tracks, seeking out vegetation, and even digging for underground sources. Once you've found water, conserving it becomes your next challenge. We'll cover tips for rationing, reducing sweat loss, and purifying any water you find. Remember, in the desert, every drop counts and making them last can be a lifesaver. Shelter from sun and sandstorms. Building shelter in the desert isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Whether you need to escape the relentless sun or protect yourself from a sudden sandstorm, knowing how to construct an effective shelter is key. We'll guide you through quick and efficient ways to create shade using whatever materials you have on hand, from natural rock formations to your own clothing and gear. You'll also learn how to protect yourself from the biting cold of desert nights, which can be just as dangerous as the midday heat. Navigating vast, open spaces. The desert's wide, open spaces can be disorienting, making it easy to lose your way. With landmarks few and far between, traditional navigation methods often fall short. We'll teach you how to use the sun, stars, and even the desert's unique features to keep your bearings. You'll learn how to avoid mirages, identify key directional signs in the landscape, and move efficiently across sand dunes and rocky terrain without wearing yourself out. Handling dangerous wildlife. The desert may seem barren, but it's home to a surprising array of wildlife, some of which are best avoided. From venomous snakes to stealthy scorpions, knowing how to handle encounters with desert creatures is essential. We'll cover the basics of recognizing tracks, staying clear of dangerous animals, and administering first aid for bites and stings. The key is respect. These animals are just trying to survive too, and a little knowledge goes a long way in keeping the peace. This chapter will arm you with the essential tactics to not just survive but thrive in the desert's harsh conditions. With the right mindset and skills, you can turn the desert from a hostile enemy into an environment that's tough but manageable. So strap on your hat, grab your water bottle, and let's conquer the heat, desert style. Chapter 3. Mountain Survival, Conquering High Altitudes. Mountains are majestic, awe-inspiring, and, let's be honest, a little intimidating. The higher you go, the more the environment seems determined to push you back down. Thin air, freezing temperatures, and rugged terrain make survival a serious challenge. But don't worry, with the right skills and mindset, you can turn those towering peaks into your playground. This chapter will guide you through the essential techniques to navigate and thrive in mountainous regions, where the stakes are high, but the rewards are worth every breathless step. Preparing for high-altitude conditions. Surviving at high altitudes requires more than just physical stamina. It demands preparation. Thin air means less oxygen, and your body will need time to adjust. We'll discuss how to acclimatize properly, recognizing symptoms of altitude sickness before it becomes a critical problem. You'll learn how to pace yourself, avoid overexertion, and stay hydrated, key factors in keeping your head clear and your body moving in the thin mountain air. Building shelter on slopes. Building a shelter on a mountainside isn't just about keeping warm, it's about finding stability in an unstable environment. We'll explore the best methods for constructing shelters that can withstand wind, snow, and rocky terrain. From using natural rock formations to crafting windbreaks, you'll learn how to create a safe haven where flat ground is a luxury. The goal is to keep you sheltered from the elements so you can rest and recover, ready to tackle whatever the mountain throws your way. Dealing with cold and frostbite. Cold is an ever-present threat in the mountains, and knowing how to stay warm can be a lifesaver. We'll cover the essentials of layering clothing, managing sweat, and insulating your shelter to keep the chill at bay. You'll also learn crucial tips for preventing and treating frostbite and hypothermia, two conditions that can quickly turn a survivable situation into a deadly one. Keeping your extremities warm and your core temperature stable is the name of the game. Navigating difficult terrain. Mountains don't come with convenient paths and friendly trail markers, and one wrong step can send you tumbling. Navigating steep slopes, loose rocks, and unpredictable weather requires more than just a good sense of direction. It requires smart footwork and an understanding of the terrain. We'll guide you through techniques for safe climbing, descent strategies, and recognizing natural hazards like avalanche-prone areas. Your best tool in the mountains is your awareness, and we'll help sharpen it. Finding food and water in rocky landscapes. Food and water are harder to come by in the mountains, but they're not impossible to find. We'll teach you how to locate water sources such as melting snow, mountain streams, and hidden springs, along with the safest ways to purify what you find. For food, we'll explore edible plants, small game, and fishing opportunities that are often overlooked in these high-altitude environments. The mountains may seem sparse, but with the right knowledge, you can gather enough to keep going. Mountains demand respect, but they also offer some of the most breathtaking and rewarding survival experiences. With the skills covered in this chapter, you'll be equipped to handle the heights with confidence and a touch of adventure. Remember, every peak conquered is a story worth telling, and maybe bragging about just a little. So lace up your boots, take a deep breath, and let's tackle those towering summits together. Chapter 4. Urban Survival, Surviving in the Concrete Jungle. Urban environments may seem like a far cry from the wilderness, but when disaster strikes, cities can quickly turn into a different kind of jungle. One made of concrete, steel, and unpredictable human behavior. Whether it's a natural disaster, civil unrest, or an unexpected emergency, knowing how to navigate and survive in an urban setting is just as critical as any wilderness skill. In this chapter, we'll dive into the strategies that will keep you safe, smart, and resourceful when the city landscape becomes a battleground. Disaster preparedness in urban settings. Being prepared for urban survival starts long before any crisis hits. We'll explore how to build a solid emergency kit tailored for city life, including items like water filtration systems, compact food supplies, first aid essentials, and multipurpose tools that won't raise eyebrows on the subway. You'll learn how to create an emergency plan that accounts for communication, meeting points, and safe routes. Because when the power goes out and cell towers are down, having a plan is your lifeline. Safe shelter in abandoned buildings. Finding safe shelter in a city can be trickier than it sounds. You're not just looking for cover, you're looking for security. We'll guide you through assessing abandoned buildings for structural safety, avoiding areas that might attract unwanted attention, and securing entrances to keep you protected from both environmental hazards and potential intruders. The goal is to create a temporary home base that keeps you hidden, safe, and ready to move when needed. Scavenging food and resources. When grocery stores are empty and restaurants are shut down, finding food becomes a game of scavenging and resourcefulness. We'll teach you how to locate viable food sources in urban environments, from foraging in parks and gardens to safely scavenging from abandoned stores. You'll also learn about essential urban edibles, think edible weeds and rooftop gardens, that are often overlooked in emergency situations. In the city, survival is often about seeing opportunity where others see only emptiness. Self-defense in dangerous situations. Cities can quickly become unpredictable when law and order break down. Knowing how to protect yourself without escalating a situation is a crucial skill. We'll cover basic self-defense tactics that don't require martial arts training. Simple, effective moves designed to help you escape and evade rather than engage. You'll also learn about makeshift weapons and deterrents that can be fashioned from everyday items, providing a layer of security without drawing unnecessary attention. Managing panic in crowds. The biggest danger in an urban survival scenario isn't just the lack of resources, it's other people. Crowds can turn chaotic in an instant, and panic spreads faster than any wildfire. We'll guide you through strategies for staying calm, reading the mood of a crowd and avoiding stampedes or confrontations. Learning how to blend in, keep a low profile, and move with purpose can keep you out of harm's way when tensions run high. Urban survival requires a unique blend of street smarts, resourcefulness, and a keen understanding of human behavior. This chapter equips you with the knowledge to stay one step ahead in a city gone wild, turning the concrete jungle into just another environment where you know how to thrive. Remember, survival isn't just about overcoming the physical challenges, it's about outsmarting the chaos around you. Keep your wits about you and you'll be ready for whatever the city throws your way. Chapter 5. Coastal Survival, Living by the Shore. Coastal environments are some of the most dynamic and diverse survival landscapes, offering an abundance of resources alongside a unique set of challenges. From rugged cliffs to sandy beaches, coastal survival demands a blend of skills to handle fluctuating tides, unpredictable weather, and the constant presence of salt water that's ironically unfit to drink. This chapter dives deep into the essentials of coastal survival, helping you harness the ocean's bounty while navigating its inherent dangers. Whether you're stranded on a deserted island or just lost your way along a rocky shore, this guide will show you how to make the best of seaside living. Finding fresh water and safe food. One of the biggest challenges in a coastal environment is finding fresh water. While the ocean is a tantalizingly abundant source of liquid, drinking salt water is a fast track to dehydration and delirium. Instead, you'll need to focus on locating fresh water sources like coastal springs, streams, or rainwater catchments. We'll guide you through techniques for collecting rainwater using natural basins and improvised traps, as well as identifying low-lying areas where freshwater pools may form. Food, on the other hand, can be plentiful if you know where to look. Coastal environments are teeming with edible resources. Fish, shellfish, seaweed, and even crabs can provide rich nutrition. We'll teach you how to safely harvest these foods, avoiding toxic species and learning simple, effective fishing techniques that don't require expensive gear. From crafting basic traps to spear fishing, we'll show you how to turn the ocean's bounty into a reliable food source that keeps you energized and strong. Shelter building from driftwood and debris. Shelter is crucial when you're exposed to the elements, and coastal areas offer unique materials to work with, from driftwood to seaweed. We'll cover the basics of building a sturdy shelter using found objects, showing you how to construct windbreaks, lean-tos, and even more sophisticated structures that can protect you from rain, sun, and wind. You'll learn to use natural formations like rock overhangs or dunes to your advantage, creating a microclimate that keeps you warm at night and cool during the day. But it's not just about protection from weather. Shelter also means staying safe from curious wildlife. We'll guide you on how to position your shelter to minimize encounters with coastal creatures, from nesting birds to nocturnal mammals. And when it comes to comfort, we've got tips on making your temporary home as cozy as possible with the resources at hand, because nothing beats a good night's sleep when you're living off the land. Avoiding dangerous sea life. The coastal waters may look inviting, but they're home to more than just pretty fish. From stinging jellyfish to aggressive sea urchins, understanding the risks of marine life is essential. We'll break down common threats you might encounter, how to recognize them, and most importantly, how to avoid them. Learn what to do if you're stung or bitten, and how to treat injuries with natural remedies found along the shore. Remember, the ocean isn't out to get you, but knowing what to avoid is half the battle in keeping safe. Signaling for rescue. If you're stranded near the coast, signaling for rescue is one of your top priorities. The good news? The beach offers plenty of space and materials to create visible, attention-grabbing signals. We'll cover the best methods for making SOS signs using rocks, seaweed, or driftwood, and how to use mirrors, bright clothing, or even your campfire to catch the eye of passing boats or aircraft. We'll also go into the art of building a smoke signal, one of the oldest and most effective ways to communicate distress from the shore. Navigating coastal landscapes. Coastal landscapes are constantly shifting with the tides, and navigation requires a keen eye and good timing. We'll show you how to read tide charts and recognize signs of incoming tides, so you don't find yourself stranded on a rock or swept away by rising waters. Understanding the rhythm of the ocean is crucial for safe travel along the shore, especially when navigating rocky outcrops or exploring sea caves that might be cut off at high tide. Additionally, we'll dive into methods for orienting yourself without a compass, using the sun, stars, and even coastal landmarks as your guides. You'll learn how to judge distances accurately and choose the safest paths when traversing unfamiliar shores. Being able to navigate effectively not only helps you stay safe but also improves your chances of finding resources and eventually making your way back to civilization. Coastal survival is a unique blend of challenges and opportunities, offering both danger and reward in equal measure. By learning to harness the environment's natural gifts while respecting its hazards, you can turn a daunting coastal ordeal into a manageable, even enriching experience. The shoreline is more than just a border between land and sea, it's a thriving ecosystem full of possibilities for those who know how to look. So let's dive in, ride the waves, and master the art of coastal survival together. Chapter 6: Cold Climate Survival, Enduring the Arctic Chill. Cold climates present some of the most formidable challenges in survival. When temperatures plummet and everything is covered in a layer of frost, survival becomes a delicate balance of staying warm, finding food, and keeping your spirits up when the environment feels downright hostile. But don't let the cold intimidate you. With the right knowledge and a bit of ingenuity, you can turn the snow and ice into allies rather than enemies. This chapter will guide you through the essentials of cold climate survival, from building insulated shelters to mastering fire starting in the most frigid conditions. Staying warm, clothing and shelter tips. Surviving in cold climates starts with staying warm, and that means layering up smartly. The right clothing can make all the difference, but it's not just about throwing on as many layers as possible. We'll dive into the science of insulation, covering how to trap heat effectively with materials you already have. From creating wind-resistant outer layers to making use of natural materials like moss and pine branches for added insulation, we'll teach you how to keep your body heat in and the biting cold out. Shelter in these environments is not optional, it's a must. We'll explore the art of building snow caves, igloos, and other cold weather shelters that trap heat and protect you from wind chill. You'll learn to spot the right locations for setting up camp, away from potential hazards like avalanches or thin ice. The goal is to create a space that not only shields you from the cold but also gives you a psychological boost. A place where you can feel just a little bit cozy, even in the harshest of conditions. Finding food and water in snowy environments. Finding food in a snowy landscape can feel like searching for a needle in a frozen haystack, but with the right skills, you can gather enough to keep you going. We'll explore how to identify edible plants that poke through the snow, such as certain types of berries and hardy roots. Hunting and trapping in cold climates come with their own set of challenges, but we'll guide you through setting up snares for small game like rabbits and squirrels, as well as tips on ice fishing when you have access to frozen lakes. Water, ironically, is everywhere in cold climates, but drinking straight from a snowbank isn't the best idea. We'll teach you how to safely melt snow and ice without burning through your precious fuel reserves. You'll also learn how to spot signs of hidden freshwater sources beneath the ice, and we'll cover methods for purifying water when clean, safe drinking water is a concern. Staying hydrated in the cold is just as important as staying warm, and knowing how to manage your water resources effectively is key. Fire making in freezing conditions. Fire is your best friend in a cold climate, but starting one in sub-zero temperatures is a different ballgame. Wet wood, snow-covered tinder, and relentless winds can make even the most seasoned survivalist break a sweat, or more accurately, wish they could. We'll cover the basics of fire making in cold weather, including selecting the driest materials, creating windbreaks, and using natural fire starters like birch bark. We'll also touch on advanced techniques like building a star fire that conserves fuel and radiates heat in all directions, perfect for warming up quickly. Knowing how to keep your fire going in extreme conditions is just as crucial as starting it. We'll share tips on maintaining a fire in wet, snowy environments, from banking embers to creating heat reflectors with rocks or snow walls. Fire isn't just a source of warmth, it's a morale booster and a way to cook, signal for help, and purify water. Mastering the art of fire making in the cold will be one of your greatest assets in Arctic survival. Avoiding hypothermia and frostbite. Cold climates are unforgiving when it comes to exposing skin to the elements. Hypothermia and frostbite can set in faster than you might think, and recognizing the early warning signs is crucial. We'll guide you through practical measures to prevent these cold-related conditions, from keeping extremities covered to managing moisture in your clothing. Wet clothes in cold weather are a recipe for disaster, so you'll learn techniques for drying out gear using your body heat, fire, and clever hacks with everyday items. We'll also cover emergency treatments for hypothermia and frostbite, because sometimes, despite your best efforts, things go south. Knowing how to warm someone slowly and safely, or how to treat frostbitten areas without causing further damage, can make all the difference. Your ability to act quickly and correctly in these scenarios will keep you, and your fellow survivors, out of the most serious danger zones. Navigating snow and ice. Navigating in a snowy landscape isn't just about finding your way, it's about doing so safely. Deep snow, hidden ice, and whiteout conditions can make even familiar terrain treacherous. We'll teach you how to read the snow, understanding when it's solid enough to walk on, when it might be hiding a crevasse, and how to spot avalanche risks. Moving efficiently through snow requires not just strength but technique, and we'll show you how to conserve energy while walking, climbing, or digging. If you're navigating in low visibility conditions such as during a snowstorm, knowing how to create temporary markers and read subtle changes in the landscape can keep you from going in circles. You'll also learn how to use simple tools like sticks, rocks, or snow formations to keep your path straight and avoid disorienting yourself. The cold can be a cruel companion, but with the right skills, you can keep moving forward, even when the world around you is nothing but white. Cold climates test the limits of human endurance, but they also reveal the resilience and resourcefulness that survival demands. With the skills covered in this chapter, you'll be prepared to face the freezing elements with confidence and a little bit of grit. The Arctic chill may be fierce, but it's no match for a well-prepared survivor who knows how to stay warm, find food, and navigate the icy expanse. So zip up, layer smart, and let's conquer the cold together. Chapter 7, Jungle Survival, Navigating the Tropics. The jungle is a vibrant, teeming landscape full of life and danger. With its dense vegetation, sweltering heat, and an abundance of wildlife, the jungle can be as hostile as it is beautiful. Surviving here requires not just a respect for the environment but a deep understanding of its unique challenges. From finding food and water in a green labyrinth to avoiding venomous creatures that blend seamlessly into the foliage, jungle survival is a true test of adaptability and skill. This chapter will equip you with the knowledge and techniques to navigate the tropics like a seasoned explorer, turning the jungle from a threat into your new home. Managing heat and humidity. Jungles are hot, humid, and sticky, conditions that can quickly sap your strength and lead to serious issues like heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Staying cool is more than a luxury, it's a necessity. We'll guide you through smart strategies for managing body heat, such as wearing light, breathable clothing and finding shade during the hottest parts of the day. Hydration is crucial, but it's not just about drinking water. It's about maintaining your body's electrolytes and avoiding dehydration traps like caffeinated or sugary drinks. Sweating is inevitable, but managing moisture is key. Wet clothes can lead to rashes, infections, and a drop in body temperature at night. We'll teach you how to keep your gear dry using simple techniques like creating elevated drying racks or utilizing the sun's rays during clear moments. Staying dry and comfortable isn't just about preventing blisters. It's about maintaining your health and morale in a challenging environment. Avoiding dangerous wildlife and plants. The jungle is home to some of the world's most dangerous animals, from venomous snakes and stealthy jaguars to biting insects that can spread disease. But it's not just the animals you have to watch out for. The plant life can be just as treacherous. We'll dive into essential skills for recognizing and avoiding harmful species, teaching you how to identify warning signs like bright colors or certain smells that signal danger. Knowing what to touch and what to steer clear of can keep you out of a lot of trouble. We'll also cover how to handle wildlife encounters, whether it's safely scaring off a curious monkey or dealing with a snake bite when medical help isn't an option. You'll learn basic first aid for common jungle injuries, including cuts, stings, and bites, as well as how to create makeshift splints and bandages from available resources. The key is to stay alert, move carefully, and respect the jungle's many inhabitants. They were there first after all. Finding food and water sources. The jungle's abundance of green can be misleading. Finding safe food and water is often trickier than it looks. Water sources are plentiful, but not all of them are safe to drink. We'll guide you through techniques for locating fresh water, from identifying water-bearing plants like bamboo and certain vines to finding clean water in natural depressions. You'll also learn the best methods for purifying water, including boiling, filtering with natural materials, and using chemical purifiers if you have them. Food in the jungle ranges from the obvious, fruits, nuts, and small animals, to the more obscure, edible insects and certain tree barks. We'll show you how to forage safely, identifying the best sources of nutrition without falling prey to toxic lookalikes. You'll learn basic trapping techniques that work well in the jungle's dense environment, from setting snares for small mammals to creating simple fishing traps. The jungle may be a grocery store of sorts, but it takes a trained eye to shop wisely. Building safe shelters. Shelter in the jungle isn't just about staying dry, it's about staying safe. The jungle's constant moisture, coupled with its population of nocturnal creatures, makes choosing the right shelter location essential. We'll guide you through building elevated platforms to keep you off the ground and away from insects, snakes, and other unwelcome visitors. You'll learn how to construct simple shelters using bamboo, large leaves, and vines, creating a structure that can withstand rain while keeping you cool. Ventilation is key in a jungle shelter. A stuffy shelter can turn into a sauna, leaving you overheated and uncomfortable. We'll cover techniques for creating natural airflow, positioning your shelter strategically to catch the breeze while staying out of sight from curious animals. And because a good night's rest is vital, you'll also learn how to make a simple bedding arrangement that keeps you dry, off the ground, and as comfortable as possible. Handling jungle-specific challenges. The jungle comes with its own set of unique survival challenges, from torrential rainstorms to sudden flash floods. We'll teach you how to read the signs of incoming weather and prepare your camp to withstand heavy rain. This includes digging trenches around your shelter for drainage, securing your gear to prevent it from being washed away, and knowing the safest spots to relocate if the weather turns extreme. Navigating the jungle is another challenge altogether. Dense vegetation, twisting vines, and an almost uniform green backdrop can disorient even the most experienced outdoorsman. We'll cover essential navigation skills, including how to use natural markers like distinctive trees or animal trails, and how to create your own markers to keep track of your route. Understanding the lay of the land, including how to identify natural ridges and valleys, will help you move through the jungle more efficiently without getting lost. In the jungle, everything is alive, moving, and adapting, and you'll need to do the same. We'll equip you with the knowledge to turn this complex environment into a resource-rich haven, whether you're cutting through thick underbrush or waiting out a storm under the shelter of broad leaves. By learning how to adapt and respect the jungle's rhythms, you'll find that surviving here is less about fighting the environment and more about becoming a part of it. Jungle survival is all about embracing the chaos, learning to read the environment, and adapting on the fly. With the skills and strategies outlined in this chapter, you'll be ready to tackle the tropics with confidence, agility, and a touch of creativity. The jungle may be wild and unpredictable, but with a sharp mind and steady hands, you can navigate its challenges and thrive amid the trees, vines, and the symphony of life that defines this incredible ecosystem. Chapter 8. Psychological Survival, the Mental Game. Surviving in any harsh environment isn't just a physical challenge. It's a mental battle, one that can be even more daunting than finding food or shelter. The mind is a powerful tool, but under stress, it can also become your greatest enemy. Fear, anxiety, loneliness, and hopelessness can all set in quickly, threatening to undermine even the most prepared survivalist. This chapter delves into the psychological aspects of survival, teaching you how to harness mental resilience, manage your emotions, and maintain hope even when circumstances seem dire. Because in the end, survival is as much about what happens in your head as it is about what you do with your hands. Maintaining hope in dire situations. Hope is the invisible lifeline that keeps you going when everything else seems lost. But maintaining hope isn't about wishful thinking. It's about actively managing your mindset. We'll explore techniques for staying positive even when the situation feels overwhelmingly bleak. This includes setting small, achievable goals each day, focusing on the next immediate task rather than the enormity of your situation, and using visualization techniques to imagine your safe return. We'll also cover the importance of keeping a mental log of your achievements, no matter how small. Did you manage to start a fire after hours of struggling? That's a win. Did you finally find a water source after a long search? Another victory. Celebrating these small successes, even if just in your mind, creates a positive feedback loop that fuels your will to keep pushing forward. Survival is a series of small battles, and each one you win is a step closer to making it out alive. Overcoming fear and anxiety. Fear is a natural response in survival scenarios, and it's often what keeps you alert and cautious. But when fear and anxiety become overwhelming, they can cloud your judgment, leading to panic and poor decisions. We'll teach you techniques for managing fear, such as grounding exercises that bring you back to the present moment, breathing techniques that calm the nervous system, and the power of positive self-talk. One of the most effective ways to combat fear is to reframe it. Instead of seeing fear as a weakness, view it as your body's way of preparing you for action. Recognize that feeling scared doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're aware of the risks, and that awareness can keep you sharp. We'll guide you through practical steps to harness fear as a tool rather than a hindrance, transforming anxiety into a driving force that keeps you vigilant and ready. The power of routine and planning. In survival situations, chaos is often the default state. Establishing a routine can bring a sense of normalcy and control to an otherwise unpredictable environment. We'll discuss how creating daily routines, no matter how simple, can provide structure, reduce stress, and keep you focused. Whether it's starting your day with a set task like checking your water supply or ending it by preparing for the next day, routines anchor you in action rather than in fear or uncertainty. Planning doesn't have to mean setting rigid goals that can't be adjusted. It's about setting intentions and being adaptable. We'll explore the art of flexible planning, how to set priorities for the day but remain open to shifting them as circumstances change. This approach helps you stay proactive rather than reactive, giving you a sense of agency and purpose even when things don't go according to plan. The jungle, desert, or mountains may have their own agendas, but having a plan keeps you one step ahead. Building resilience. Resilience is more than just a buzzword, it's the bedrock of survival. It's the ability to bounce back after setbacks, to keep moving forward even when every part of you wants to quit. Building resilience doesn't happen overnight, but there are tangible ways to strengthen this mental muscle. We'll cover the importance of self-compassion, being kind to yourself when mistakes happen and recognizing that survival is a learning curve with ups and downs. Mental resilience is also about reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing a failed attempt to make a fire as a failure, see it as valuable practice. Instead of feeling defeated when you can't find food, recognize the resilience in your continued effort. We'll explore techniques like mental rehearsal, visualizing yourself succeeding at a task before you attempt it, and how these small mental exercises can boost your confidence and performance in real time. Staying connected. The importance of mental engagement. Loneliness and isolation can wear down even the toughest individuals. Staying mentally engaged and connected to your sense of self, others, or even the environment around you can help stave off the debilitating effects of isolation. We'll teach you ways to stay mentally active, from creating simple games or challenges for yourself to practicing mindfulness by observing your surroundings in detail. If you have access to any writing tools, keeping a journal can be a powerful way to maintain your sense of identity and process your experiences. Even if it's just scratching notes in the dirt, recording your thoughts and actions gives you a sense of continuity and helps track progress. We'll also discuss how to maintain a connection with your loved ones in your mind, using memories and imagined conversations as a way to stay emotionally engaged and motivated. Managing boredom and keeping the mind active. Boredom might seem trivial, but in survival situations, it can quickly lead to mental fatigue and poor decision-making. An idle mind is prone to negative thinking, so keeping yourself mentally occupied is crucial. We'll explore ways to stay busy, whether it's through practical tasks like improving your shelter or creative ones like carving, drawing, or storytelling. Keeping the mind active isn't just about passing the time, it's about maintaining your cognitive sharpness, which can be critical when faced with unexpected challenges. We'll also delve into the role of problem-solving games, simple activities that can be done with rocks, sticks, or even mentally like counting games or pattern recognition exercises. These not only stave off boredom but also keep your brain engaged in problem-solving mode, sharpening the very skills that will help you in survival. Psychological survival is an often overlooked but absolutely vital part of the survival equation. By mastering the mental game, you equip yourself with an inner toolkit that's just as valuable as any physical gear. You'll be better prepared to handle the emotional highs and lows, maintain your determination, and ultimately outlast the challenges you face. Survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about maintaining the will to keep pushing forward no matter how tough things get. And with the strategies in this chapter, you'll have the mental fortitude to see you through the darkest moments, emerging not just as a survivor, but as someone who has truly mastered the art of resilience. Chapter 9. Essential Survival Tools and Skills. In any survival situation, having the right tools and skills can drastically improve your chances of success. But it's not just about what you have, it's about knowing how to use it effectively. The right skills can turn everyday objects into life-saving equipment, and the ability to improvise with what's available can mean the difference between thriving and merely scraping by. This chapter dives deep into the essential tools and survival skills you need, whether you're lost in the wilderness, stranded on a deserted island, or navigating an urban disaster zone. We'll cover the basics as well as advanced techniques to ensure you're prepared for anything that comes your way. Building and using a survival kit. A well-stocked survival kit is like your portable lifeline, but the most important part of your kit isn't the gear. It's knowing how to use it. We'll start with the basics of what every good survival kit should include. A reliable knife, fire-starting tools, water purification methods, a basic first aid kit, and some form of shelter material like a space blanket or tarp. But beyond just listing items, we'll dive into the nuances of each tool, exploring how to get the most out of every piece of gear. You'll learn how to prioritize items based on your environment, such as adding extra water purification methods in desert settings or additional fire-starting options in wet environments. We'll also cover the art of creating a survival kit on the fly using available materials, such as fashioning a makeshift first aid kit from clothing and natural remedies, or improvising a fire starter using everyday items like batteries and steel wool. The key is adaptability. understanding that a good survivalist is never limited by what's missing, but empowered by what's possible. Knots, traps, and basic tools. Knots are the unsung heroes of survival, capable of making or breaking your shelter, securing a raft, or setting a trap for food. We'll teach you the essential knots every survivalist should know, including the bowline, clove hitch, and square knot, along with their practical applications in various survival scenarios. Knowing which knot to use, and when, can save you time, effort, and even keep you safe in high-risk situations. Trapping and basic toolmaking are skills that allow you to be resourceful with what nature provides. We'll cover the fundamentals of creating simple traps and snares using basic materials like vines, sticks, and rocks. From the classic figure 4 trap to more advanced spring-loaded snares, you'll learn techniques to catch small game without expending valuable energy. We'll also explore the basics of carving basic tools like fish hooks, spears, and digging sticks, using nothing but a knife and natural resources. These skills not only provide sustenance but also enhance your overall survival strategy by turning the environment into an ally. Basic first aid in the wild. In a survival scenario, even minor injuries can become major problems if not treated properly. Basic first aid skills are crucial, and we'll guide you through the essentials: cleaning and dressing wounds, treating burns, managing sprains and fractures, and recognizing signs of infection. We'll also cover the basics of creating splints and bandages using natural materials like bark, leaves, and vines, so you're never caught without a way to stabilize an injury. Beyond the basics, you'll learn how to identify and use common medicinal plants to treat a variety of ailments. From using willow bark as a natural pain reliever to applying aloe vera for burns, knowing which plants have healing properties can provide critical care when conventional medical supplies are limited. We'll also discuss improvising first aid gear from clothing and found materials, such as creating slings, using charcoal for water purification, and fashioning tourniquets in emergency situations. Signal for help. Best practices. When you're stranded or lost, signaling for help is a top priority. We'll explore various methods of making yourself visible to rescuers, whether by land, sea, or air. You'll learn the basics of creating an SOS signal using natural materials, from rock formations to ground disturbances, and how to use mirrors, bright clothing, or even your campfire smoke to catch attention. We'll also cover how to build signal fires that maximize smoke output, increasing your chances of being spotted. In addition to traditional signaling methods, we'll explore creative solutions, such as using reflective surfaces like aluminum foil, setting up movement-based signals that catch the eye, and utilizing sound-based alerts when visibility is poor. Knowing how to effectively signal for help is about more than just waving your arms. It's about understanding how to use the environment to your advantage, amplifying your presence even in the most remote settings. Navigating without a map or compass. Navigation is a critical survival skill that can often be the key to finding your way back to safety. We'll teach you how to navigate using natural indicators such as the sun, stars, and landmarks, which can be crucial when modern tools like maps, GPS, or compasses aren't available. You'll learn how to use the North Star to find direction at night, read the landscape for signs of water flow, often a route toward civilization, and use simple techniques like shadow sticks to determine cardinal directions. We'll also explore advanced methods like dead reckoning, estimating your position based on distance traveled and direction, and how to create makeshift compasses using magnets and metal if you have access to those materials. Navigating without traditional tools requires patience, observation, and a good sense of spatial awareness, skills that we'll hone so that you can confidently make your way through even the most disorienting environments. Improvisation, the art of making do. Survival is all about improvisation, seeing the potential in every object and turning what's available into something useful. We'll explore the art of improvisation, teaching you how to repurpose common items for unconventional uses. From using plastic bottles as water carriers, turning a belt into a makeshift tourniquet, or crafting a digging tool from a sharp rock, we'll guide you through the mindset of making do with what you have. You'll learn to view your environment through the eyes of an innovator, turning trash into treasure and finding solutions where others see only problems. Improvisation is more than just a handy trick. It's a mindset that allows you to adapt quickly, conserve energy, and stay one step ahead of whatever challenges you face. Building confidence through practice. Having the tools and skills is one thing, but putting them into practice is what truly builds confidence. We'll encourage you to try these techniques in controlled settings before you ever need them in a survival scenario. Whether it's setting up a backyard shelter, practicing knot tying, or starting a fire in your fireplace without matches, hands-on practice not only reinforces your skills but also gives you the mental assurance that you can handle real-life situations. We'll offer tips on setting up practice scenarios, such as spending a night outdoors with only your survival kit or simulating a water purification challenge with local sources. The more you practice, the more these skills will become second nature, allowing you to react calmly and effectively when faced with the real thing. Confidence isn't just built by reading, it's built by doing, and will guide you every step of the way. Mastering essential survival tools and skills isn't just about gathering knowledge, it's about transforming that knowledge into action, adapting to your environment, and staying resourceful under pressure. With the right tools in hand, and the skills to use them, you'll be prepared to face whatever nature throws your way. So sharpen that knife, practice your knots, and let's turn you into a survivalist who's ready for anything. Chapter 10: Survival Scenarios, Real-World Applications. Survival isn't a one-size-fits-all skill set. It's a dynamic, ever-changing challenge that adapts to the environment, the circumstances, and the individual involved. In this chapter, we'll explore real-world survival scenarios to provide practical insights into how the skills you've learned throughout this book can be applied in actual situations. From plane crashes in remote mountains to urban disasters like earthquakes and power outages, we'll dive into the tactics, decisions, and mindset shifts necessary to overcome each unique set of challenges. By examining these scenarios, you'll gain a deeper understanding of how to adapt your skills to fit any survival situation that life might throw at you. Case studies of real-life survival stories. There's no better teacher than experience, and real-life survival stories offer invaluable lessons. We'll dissect several incredible survival accounts, from harrowing tales of stranded sailors adrift at sea to climbers trapped on icy mountain slopes. Each case study will break down the decisions made, the mistakes that were avoided or not, and the innovative solutions that led to survival. You'll learn what worked, what didn't, and why, giving you a practical perspective on the theory and skills covered in earlier chapters. For instance, we'll look at the story of Stephen Callahan, who survived 76 days adrift on a life raft in the Atlantic Ocean with minimal supplies. His resourcefulness in catching rainwater, fishing with makeshift tools, and managing his limited rations offers a masterclass in rationing and resilience. Another case study will cover the Andes flight disaster, where survivors had to make unthinkable choices and rely on sheer willpower and community support to endure extreme cold and isolation. These stories are not just about the dramatic moments, they're about the everyday decisions that determine life or death. Lessons learned from extreme situations. Survival isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you learn along the way. We'll draw key lessons from each scenario to highlight the critical factors that influence survival outcomes. For example, maintaining morale in group survival situations is often more challenging, and more important, than the physical challenges faced. We'll discuss the psychological dynamics of group survival, such as managing conflict, making group decisions, and the importance of leadership, even in small ways. Another lesson often overlooked is the importance of staying adaptable. Many survival stories involve initial plans going awry due to unforeseen circumstances, like weather changes, injuries, or lost supplies. We'll explore how adaptability, quick thinking, and the ability to pivot from Plan A to Plan B are often what separate those who make it from those who don't. These insights will help you understand that in survival, nothing is set in stone. Being ready to change course at a moment's notice is a skill in itself. Adapting skills to different scenarios. One of the most valuable skills in survival is the ability to adapt what you know to new and unexpected scenarios. We'll delve into how core skills like fire making, shelter building, and foraging can be modified based on the environment. For example, starting a fire in a rainforest requires different materials and techniques than doing so in a cold, arid desert. Understanding these nuances can help you apply your knowledge flexibly, ensuring you're prepared no matter where you find yourself. We'll also look at how improvisation plays a key role when traditional tools or methods aren't available. For instance, using car parts for metal to make cutting tools in urban survival or creating fishing gear from fabric and scrap metal in a coastal setting. The ability to see potential in the materials around you is crucial. Survival isn't about having everything. It's about making the most of what you have. Each scenario we discuss will highlight specific adaptations to enhance your versatility as a survivalist. Disaster-specific scenarios. Every type of disaster brings its own set of challenges. We'll explore various disaster-specific scenarios, such as what to do during earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, and unexpected wilderness encounters. For earthquakes, we'll discuss strategies for finding safe spots indoors, protecting yourself from falling debris, and planning your exit routes. In flooding scenarios, you'll learn how to navigate rising waters, avoid hazardous currents, and utilize flotation devices, even if they're improvised from household items. 4 wilderness scenarios like sudden encounters with wildlife. We'll cover the best practices for making yourself appear non-threatening, recognizing animal behavior cues, and safely backing away from potentially dangerous situations. By understanding the specific demands of each disaster type, you'll be better prepared to react appropriately, making quick, informed decisions that increase your chances of survival. Reacting to sudden emergencies. Sudden emergencies like plane crashes, car accidents, or unexpected medical issues require immediate action, often under pressure. We'll guide you through the principles of quick decision-making, assessing the situation and prioritizing actions. For example, in the event of a plane crash in a remote area, immediate priorities might include putting out fires, locating survivors, and setting up a temporary shelter with whatever wreckage is available. Medical emergencies such as severe bleeding, broken bones, or allergic reactions demand a cool head and quick response. We'll teach you how to perform essential first aid techniques in high-stress situations, including how to stop bleeding with makeshift bandages, splint broken limbs using available materials, and recognize symptoms that need urgent attention. In emergencies, seconds count, and having the skills to act quickly can save lives. Making tough decisions. Risk versus reward. Survival often involves making tough decisions with limited information. Should you stay put and wait for rescue or risk moving to find help? We'll explore the risk versus reward calculation that underpins these decisions, including factors like weather conditions, available resources, your physical condition, and the probability of being found. By understanding how to weigh these variables, you can make more informed choices that maximize your survival prospects. We'll also look at decision-making under stress, such as when food and water supplies are running low, or when navigating dangerous terrain. The ability to remain calm, evaluate your options, and make a plan, even if it's not perfect, is crucial. This section will provide practical frameworks for assessing risks and making the best possible decision with the information at hand. Preparing for the unexpected. No matter how well prepared you are, survival is often about dealing with the unexpected. We'll emphasize the importance of mental flexibility and the ability to stay calm when things don't go according to plan. You'll learn the value of contingency planning, always having a backup route, an extra water source, or an alternative shelter spot in mind. Expecting the unexpected isn't about being paranoid, it's about staying one step ahead of the situation. We'll also explore how to maintain a survival mindset even when things take a turn for the worse. Staying positive, re-evaluating your goals, and continuously looking for new opportunities are all part of surviving the unexpected. We'll share tips on keeping your morale high when you hit setbacks, such as reframing challenges as temporary and focusing on small, immediate victories to keep your momentum going. Building a survivor's mindset. The most important takeaway from all these scenarios is that survival is as much about mindset as it is about skills. You'll learn how to cultivate a survivor's mindset that prioritizes perseverance, problem-solving, and resilience. We'll provide exercises to help you practice mental toughness, such as visualization techniques, maintaining perspective, and using stress inoculation training, practicing difficult tasks under controlled stress to better handle the real thing. Survival isn't just about getting through, it's about growing through the experience, coming out stronger, wiser, and more adaptable. This chapter aims to arm you with the real-world insights and mental strategies that turn you from a passive participant in your own fate into an active, capable survivor. By examining these survival scenarios, you'll not only learn how to apply your skills but also how to think critically and adaptively in high-stakes situations. Whether you're facing down an unexpected disaster or simply planning for the worst, this chapter will give you the confidence to know that you can handle whatever comes your way. Survival isn't just about having the right tools or knowledge, it's about being ready to take on the unknown with courage and resourcefulness. Conclusion: becoming self-reliant anywhere. Survival is more than a set of skills. It's a way of thinking, a way of living, and above all, a testament to human resilience. As you've journeyed through the various environments, scenarios, and challenges laid out in this book, you've gained not just the technical know-how to survive, but also the mindset of a true survivor. The concluding chapter of this guide is about bringing everything together. Understanding that survival isn't just about getting by, but about thriving in the most adverse conditions. It's about embracing the unknown, adapting to ever-changing circumstances, and finding the strength within yourself to overcome any obstacle. Recap of key survival skills. Throughout this book, you've learned a wide array of survival skills tailored to different environments, from the lush forests and sweltering deserts to the icy mountains and concrete urban jungles. Let's briefly recap some of the most critical skills. Fire making. essential for warmth, cooking, and signaling. You've learned multiple methods suited for different environments, from using a bow drill in wet forests to utilizing a magnifying glass in sunny deserts. Mastering fire making is not just about survival, it's about maintaining a critical psychological boost in any scenario. A shelter building, from igloos in freezing conditions to elevated platforms in the jungle, creating a safe place to rest and protect yourself from the elements is foundational. Your ability to assess the landscape and use available materials effectively can transform a potentially deadly situation into a manageable one. In navigation, whether using the stars in open deserts or the sun and natural landmarks in dense jungles, knowing how to navigate without modern tools is crucial. It's not just about finding your way, it's about avoiding dangers, locating resources, and moving with purpose. Food and water procurement, from foraging edible plants and trapping small game to filtering water in urban environments, securing sustenance keeps your body functioning and your mind sharp. You've learned to recognize what's safe, how to purify, and how to ration effectively in various climates. Psychological survival, perhaps the most important of all, managing your mental state is key. You've explored techniques for maintaining hope, managing fear, and staying mentally engaged, even when isolated. A strong mindset is your greatest tool, giving you the fortitude to push forward when things get tough. Each of these skills is a building block of self-reliance. The more you practice and refine them, the more natural they become, empowering you to handle any survival scenario with confidence. The mindset of a survivor. If there's one thing that separates survivors from those who don't make it, it's mindset. You've seen this in the real-life survival stories, people who kept moving, kept thinking, and refused to give up, even when the odds were stacked against them. A survival mindset is built on three core principles: adaptability, resilience, and resourcefulness. Adaptability means being ready to change your plans, modify your techniques, and embrace the unexpected. It's about not getting stuck in rigid thinking but instead seeing every challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. It's about maintaining your will to live even when you're tired, hungry, and scared. Resilience is strengthened by your mental habits, staying positive, focusing on small victories, and keeping a clear goal in sight. Resourcefulness is the ability to make the most of what's around you. It's seeing potential in every object, every landscape, and every situation. From using natural resources creatively to improvising with minimal gear, resourcefulness turns obstacles into stepping stones. These principles don't just apply to survival in the wilderness, they're valuable in everyday life. Cultivating a survival mindset helps you navigate all kinds of challenges, whether you're lost in a forest or facing difficulties in your personal or professional life. Continuing your survival education. This book has equipped you with the fundamentals, but survival is a lifelong learning journey. The best survivalists are always honing their skills, learning new techniques, and staying informed about the latest innovations in gear and strategies. We encourage you to keep practicing. Try out different fire starting methods, build shelters in your backyard, or practice navigation on local hikes. The more you engage with these skills, the more intuitive they'll become. Consider taking formal survival courses, joining outdoor clubs, or participating in workshops where you can learn from seasoned experts. Watching survival documentaries and reading first-hand accounts can also offer valuable insights that complement the hands-on experience. Remember, knowledge is your most powerful tool. It's lightweight, compact, and can't be lost or broken. Final thoughts on preparedness. Preparedness isn't about paranoia, it's about peace of mind. Being prepared means you have the confidence to face whatever comes your way, knowing you have the skills, tools, and mindset to handle it. Whether you're packing a basic emergency kit for your car or planning an extended wilderness adventure, taking the time to prepare is an act of self-reliance and self-respect. It's also important to pass on your knowledge. Teach your family, friends, and community basic survival skills. Not only does this reinforce your learning, but it also helps create a more resilient and prepared society. When more people are equipped with survival skills, communities are better able to support each other in times of crisis. Becoming self-reliant anywhere. Ultimately, the goal of survival is not just to endure but to thrive. It's about finding comfort in discomfort, turning fear into motivation, and transforming the unknown into a new frontier of possibilities. You've learned how to read the land, harness natural resources, and keep your wits about you in the most challenging conditions. But beyond the practical skills, you've also developed a deeper understanding of your own capabilities. Becoming self-reliant means you are no longer at the mercy of the environment, you are a part of it. Whether you're navigating a dense jungle, enduring a cold night on a mountain, or maneuvering through an urban disaster, You have the knowledge and the mindset to handle it with confidence and grace. So go out there, explore the world with curiosity and respect, and remember that you are always capable of more than you think. Survival isn't just a skill set, it's a testament to the human spirit's endless capacity to adapt, endure, and overcome. Armed with the lessons from this book, you are ready to survive anywhere, anytime. Welcome to the ranks of those who don't just survive, they thrive.